So welcome back, everybody. This is Night Flight, and today Marc Gray is back, and we are going to talk about Leave the World Behind. So, Marc, welcome. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, fine, fine. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while. It's been a few months. Since-
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes, yeah, it wasn't because I'm no longer interested to talk to
I
you.
know
It
you've been
just
busy.
It was what it was. So, Mark, before we jump into our topic,
Hmm.
I have to ask you, Mr. Macron announced that he no longer can rule out sending NATO troops to Ukraine. What do you make?
He's looking ridiculous as usual. Well, he thinks he's the EU president or emperor or whatever. He's the new Rothschild bastard Napoleon, basically. But he thinks he's very strong because they actually implemented a new law. When was that? It was I think 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. Article 4, number 4, in France. This is basically any criticism of the mRNA DefVax platform is punishable up to 3 years imprisonment and 45,000 euros. So it's so stupid unless you have all the FEMA camps and and you send the cats after the to catch the the people who don't agree with the mandate the vax mandate. I don't see how he's going to implement his new law. It's major censorship. It's basically this is the French democracy, for you. If you say anything to NPCs, that they tell you to go to hell and live in North Korea. But in France, they don't see anything that's happening. So it's crazy. I mean, nobody hears about it because most people are NPCs around us, so they don't give a crap about the new law, except us who are fighting
Mm,
against
yeah,
this crazy government.
yeah.
Mm.
And circling back to the Ukraine, he be
Mhm.
lying. She's chewing on the mic.
She wants to do the interview.
Yeah, probably. Um, is the French army even fit?
No. No, they're recruiting. They have so many recruitment spots on TV all day, all week long. It's just, oh, you disappeared behind your cap. And now they're calling it the Air Force, the French Air Force and Space, Air and Space Force. It's so stupid. And they have this advertisement to recruit computer programmers, and they don't say it's the French Air and Space Force. It's just one guy who's like, barely an adult and a young adult, and he's telling his dad, Dad, um, I forgot exactly how it goes, but I found a new job in computer programming, and his dad is like, he was so happy. He's like, "What are you going to do?" Well, I'm joining the French Air and Space Force. Say, "Oh, they don't do any computer programming," and they're doing the whole spiel about recruiting programmers, and it's so stupid. They're recruiting. I'm not sure they have enough soldiers and computer programmers to to do the job, and their material is, I mean, the equipment is so old and messed up. I mean, they don't even have an airplane carrier that's workable.
Hmm, yeah.
Mm.
I know that Slovenia already said no thanks. Greece said no thanks. That is not going to happen.
Mm.
Our chancellor here, he said no, we are not. But with him, he says one thing one day, and next week it might be completely different. So I'm not quite sure if his no is really a no, because he also in the beginning said no to tanks for Ukraine and a whole bunch of other things. And then he sent it anyway. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
that
Yeah.
remains to be seen. But Russia, already reacted to it and said, in that case, when NATO troops enter Ukraine, that means we are at war with NATO. And Mr. Lukashenko, he sounded out that he thinks there might be something fishy going on, maybe an attack on Poland that then will be blamed on Belarus and or Russia, and so yeah, we will see. But sometimes when I wake up, I think, will this insanity ever stop? Probably not. Huh?
No, I think we're seeing more stupid things like every week, and all the NPCs and the New Age people are saying we're being saved by the Trump extraterrestrial alliance, and Putin is going to save us, and China is going to save us with the BRICS. It's the new thing, and they don't see it. It's part of the one unipolar world today. It's just one umbrella under which those two sides are working. They're all Schwab's agents. I mean, they're all young leaders, and they all did their classes with the City of London, and they work for the same masters. So if there's a war, I don't think I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think they may orchestrate a fake civil war to begin with before there's going to be a war between countries.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Civil War that's coming out in the US in April 8th.
It's called what? Civil War?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You didn't see the teaser? You wanna me to show you the teaser? You see, it's pretty
I have no TV. That is why I see no teasers.
okay. Well, actually, you didn't miss much, but it's interesting. So, it goes into hold on.
Mark,
Yeah.
wait, you know
Hmm.
why? Because last time we did show something, and
Hmm.
YouTube did not allow me to upload it because of copyright issue.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, YouTube. Okay. All right.
So maybe we skip.
Okay, yeah, we'll skip that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, but
it's a
I can find it out. Civil War.
hmm Yeah, so I think it's the same day it comes out. I'm not sure exactly, but as the eclipse, the famous eclipse with the X, it's like two eclipses or crossing over or something. It's gonna
Yeah, the
make
one was in 2017,
right.
and the next one is yeah, this year. Is it
Hmm.
March?
I think it's April. I think
April?
it's April. Yeah. I'll have to check on that, but yeah, it's sort of crazy how they they put that in place. Like, it's a Truman Show, so they can scenarize, and stage everything they want, anything they want, actually. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, since the last time we spoke, I was able to produce two documentary movies. So the one that we're going to talk about tonight is the derived. It's I try to decipher, decode the Netflix movie produced by the Obamas. Those two guys, Mike and Barack, and
Mhm.
Leave the World Behind on Netflix. I named it Leave the World Behind according to them, in French. So I deciphered what I thought was interesting in this bloody flick. That's it's really anxious based type of predictive programming movie, and I think most of the Netflix viewers have not really caught the connections with the rehearsal with Cyber Polygon, the event that Schwab put together, and we can show that, actually. I think there's no YouTube rights to, I mean, royalty or rights to be worried
Mm.
about. And the second documentary movie released it yesterday, and it's kicking ass, actually. I'm pretty happy about vaccines history and track record since the beginning. of the vaccines. And I've named it Lessons from the Past of the Injectology Sect or Cult, since we're being accused of being a cult because we think differently and we're independent thinkers, free thinkers. So I named it the cult because it's a cult, basically, and vaccinology is a cult. And I also produced in between a roundtable discussion in French called the "Is Lasting Happiness Possible in Our Endless Play?" And we were like 5 or 6 people, and we discussed that. It was pretty interesting. So,
Yeah. Okay.
mm, mm,
Mark, uh, did you read the book this movie is based on? And if
no.
so, does the book have the same whimsical end? I mean,
Mm,
what a stupid end to a movie.
yeah, he did it on purpose. I read an interview of the director, Sam Esmail, who also produced a TV series called
A
Mr.
robot,
Robot. Mr. Robot,
Mr.
right? And he said he did it on purpose because he did want he called it the monster of the movie because he wanted to leave people thinking about what would happen next, and everyone basically can think of its own ending. It can go different ways, and at the end, actually, it's pretty weird because Rose, the little girl in the movie who wore the NASA T-shirt during the movie. We'll talk about that later on, but she finds a bunker, and in the neighbor's house, and then she breaks into it. Well, actually, it's open, and her mother, played by
Julia
Julia
Roberts.
Roberts, right? He screams her name outside and so forth, and she looks for her all over the place, and she doesn't answer. She goes into it and sees what she was trying to get to during the whole movie, which was the last episode of the TV series Friends, and called the last one, I think. So, and the last episode of the series Friends. So, and this series, and I found an extract of that series Friends back in the days. It also had its share of predictive programming. Maybe we can show that what the Friends series showed back in the days. If I can find the hold on. Yeah, because it's sort of weird. When you connect it with you put it in perspective with Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Mhm.
Let's see, friends. Okay, yeah, I got it. All right. Let's see. How can I share it? Let's see. All right. All right. Hold on. Okay, just finished this. All right. Let me share this.
Going to play it, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
No, please don't. I can't upload that.
Oh, you cannot?
No.
Are you sure? When I share
Yeah, I'm very sure.
when I share the screen? No, it doesn't show on your end.
No, no.
Uh, okay, so and what about just the sound of it?
Yeah, that is usually the problem.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, so he's
Just
basically
describe it. Just describe it.
all right. Well, he's what he's saying. He read a fascinating book that in 2030 there'll be computers that can come about with the same amount of functions as a human brain. So
Mhm.
if you download your thoughts and memories into this computer, and you can live forever as a machine. You see what you see what where it's going to. That was in Friends in what was it like in the 2020 in 2010 or something? Friends, the series, or
Yeah, I don't know.
2000s?
I never watched it. I
Me
was
neither.
never.
That's old. That's old though.
Yeah,
That,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, this little girl, Rose.
mhm.
I'm not saying she is, but there are moments. in the movie when I thought she comes across almost autistic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you had the same impression?
Yes. Yes,
Mm,
totally. Yeah, totally. And she actually sees things that her family doesn't catch, but she's obsessed with this stupid, Friends series, the whole during the whole movie. So she doesn't grasp what the world around them is doing, but she perceives things, that the others don't. So there's a contrast, a contradiction between she looks like she's bipolar, a little bit
yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, so basically this whole movie, um I think it's more than just entertainment for Netflix viewers. It's a form of indoctrination. It's a way to present a script that to the public, so that when the time comes, which is what the WEF is predicting will happen before 2025. The major cyber crash and cyber attack, and people will be more likely to accept it, on the subconscious level. It's a technique known as predictive programming, but it's also the revelation of the method. So,
It's interesting that you say that because just today I read some articles that the hoodies have destroyed some internet cables going to Europe and Asia.
wow, okay. Hmm, I didn't know
So,
about that.
but I didn't have any outage. Did you?
No, I didn't either. Um, but I heard there was two major power outages with AT&T. The phones and internet in the US was like 10 days ago or something, or 2 weeks ago, I think.
Mm,
So I forgot which area in the US, but I think they're just testing the grid, for now.
mhm.
And so they're just talking about this. It's Some people think that's a way for the elite to um, release themselves from like karmic duties. They don't have any responsibilities for what's
Yeah,
going to happen because
we
they're
told
telling the
you,
people. Yeah,
even
we
if it's
told you so.
a stupid movie.
Yeah, yeah, they think before it
Yeah.
happens. So people are warned, and they're willing participants instead of victims. So you know, so that's it. They think they will not get the karmic retribution, as opposed to if he's really dead, Jacob Rothschild, recently, yesterday, I think.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So is he really dead? I don't know.
Yeah, well, why did come on, he was old.
Yeah. Well, I know, but so is Schwab, and he's not, he didn't pass yet. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Kissinger
Mm, right.
old also.
Mm, that's true.
So yeah,
Uh,
I no, I'm not going to speculate there. Honestly,
no,
no.
no, you never know. But, you know,
But the assumption that you can live forever is totally flawed because first of all, your consciousness is not in the brain.
right. Exactly.
That's the first fatal mistake. Plus, even the best machine after a while breaks down.
Mm. Yeah, and soulless machines as well, since they're not gonna be transferred or recycled to another. Well, they can, but as a machine, but not as a soulless being. So there are tons of soulless beings around us, I'm sure, and lots of them who are so dumbed down by the chemicals, the systems, the propaganda, and indoctrinated so far down to their the core of their soul. They don't vibrate. They don't. I don't think their frequency is able to survive or connect to their external consciousness outside the matrix. So they'll stay within the matrix and get recycled over and over, I think. But that's just my take on it, you know. I some people argue that the movie is just a dumb movie, and we shouldn't be talking too much about it. But Mark Zuckerberg is is reportedly building himself a $270 million compound in Hawaii. So, what do you think of that? Is that just smoke and
So
mirrors?
many, so many ultra rich people have bought bunkers, and
Hmm.
yeah, in the last couple of years, and now it has another peak. So he's not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they know something that we don't, but I can't prove it, you know?
Yeah, but are they ready to bury themselves into their bunkers and remain there, or is just another staged move, to make us think that they cannot escape this reality, and they're prisoners down here, they're tied down to this dimension, and they cannot move and switch dimensions.
If if you know where it is, you can cement over it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If we go back to the origins of Netflix. Um, yeah. Then again, I don't know if I can show you the because it wasn't on YouTube, so it's an extract of the origin of Netflix, but by a guy I don't really appreciate much, but this part is interesting. It's Greg Reese, and well, we know he's control op, but
Uh,
because he works with what's his name,
Alex,
Alex Jones and Watson and Infowars and all this crap. But his description of the origins of Netflix is interesting. I don't know if I can put it on, and maybe you can cut it off if you don't think it's gonna be doable for YouTube. I don't know. Let's see, Netflix. Um, I can find it. Netflix.
yeah, that scene that you have um, pulled up here on the image behind you when
Right,
the ship just, you
right,
know,
right.
uh, is stranding at the beach. That was that the first clue that something is really wrong?
Oh yeah. Definitely. It crashed on the beach. So basically they hacked the ship, and it looked like the movie Jaws, the scene, the angle of the camera, from the part of the ship that's crashing onto the beach. It looks like the shark from Jaws. And the name of the ship was it called the Proud Lion, right? No, no, not the Proud Lion. Geez, I forgot. The Lion something. What was it called? Uh,
I don't know.
the White Lion. The White Lion, right?
Why?
Yeah, and the White Lion was an English ship, um, that brought down the African slaves, the first African slaves to the English colony in Virginia in 1619, and
Mhm.
one year prior to the Mayflower in New England. So the first slaves were ended up there, and they called that ship the White Lion. So it's also Obama's racial card, themes, ongoing themes, that he played the racial card, to supposedly get elected, the first Afro-American president. So he got the Nobel Prize right away, and he was the first American president to be on his two terms at war for 8 years, during 8 years. So he got the Nobel Prize, and he's a distant cousin of George Bush. So
Yeah,
it has, the racial card has, well, it's being played in that movie, because
yeah, big time,
yeah,
big
big
time.
time.
When here, this the father and her daughter here on
Mhm.
that side. I distinctly remember when the daughter told her father, yeah, I don't trust them. They are white.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah,
Well, we should say that Julia Roberts and her husband rented their house for the weekend.
right.
And that was Long Island.
Yeah, it
In
was
Yeah. And
Virginia, I think, right? West Virginia, Point
no,
Comfort.
no, Long Island, New York.
Oh,
They live
okay.
in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. They lived in an apartment there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then they took off to Long Island and had rented this house for the weekend.
Mm.
And yeah, and then the owner with his daughter shows up because yeah, everything is starting to crumble down.
Yeah, crumbled down and the first cyber attack. So it's the first cyber attack, and let's see if I can share Greg Reese's extract part of. Let's see. Here it is. Now, what about the sound? Okay. All right. Can you see it?
Hmm.
All right. Let me see. I'm gonna play it and let me know if you hear the sound.
Known as the father of psychoanalysis, Sigmund Freud claimed his father molested all of his siblings. Freud was a cocaine addict, as well as a pedophile advocate, who taught that children sexually lusted after their parents, and that children who reported sexual abuse by adults had either imagined or fantasized the experience. He believed that women were the problem with society, and all their problems stemmed from not having a penis. Freud's grandson, Sir Clement Freud, has been accused of molesting multiple young girls.
Uh, yeah, something is wrong with the sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't hear the sound?
No, I hear it, but it
Yeah.
is very scratchy.
Oh, it's scratchy. Oh, ouch. All right. Too bad. It's just to let people know
Well,
that the
anyway, if people are interested, they can probably find it.
right,
Just type in Greg Reese and then the story of Netflix. Yeah.
right, right. Edward Bernays, right. Yeah, so basically Netflix was founded, one of the founders of Netflix was Randolph Bernays, and he was basically a grandnephew of Freud and Edward Bernays, and propaganda. Edward Bernays is basically the master of propaganda. He was the one who recycled and sold us of fluoride, into
Mhm.
toothpaste, recruited soldiers for the U.S. Army. Uncle Sam wants you, and so forth, and also prompted women to set themselves free by smoking cigarettes, even during pregnancy. So, and many more campaigns, and he was basically the father of propaganda. Well, that's the title of this book. But I mean, social engineering was really pushed forward by Edward Bernays. And
Mhm.
Freud, of course, everyone knows about Freud. Who changed his mind? Oh, well, he's a Freemason like the others, but they're all Freemasons. And um, uh, Aldous Huxley also, I think, was part of the family in there. So in the Fabian Society members, like the Huxley family, they're all part of the same social engineering lodges and so forth. So Freud at the beginning did report that there was like some raping going on as a child in his family, and then he retracted and you know and declared stated that it was actually the children imagined what had happened. But at the beginning, he was the first one to actually point that out. In the psychologist circles, and he wasn't really appreciated, because of that, because all those circles, there are a lot of pedophiles in those rings of power. So, but he changed his mind afterwards. But his family, you know, is really deranged. I have to admit. So,
Yeah. Um, you know what I found really weird
mhm,
in the beginning when this ship crashed on the beach?
right?
There appeared to be no crew on the ship.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So where have they gone?
But the thing is, the angle of the camera is from, you know, the beach, not from above the ship.
Yeah,
Uh,
correct.
mm,
But still, there, you know,
mm,
if a ship is going to crash right on a public beach, I would imagine that at least a couple of crew members would try to warn or something, the people to
mm.
get out of the way. And none of that was happening. It appeared to be as if the ship is coming all by itself,
Mm.
nobody is left, and it just crashed and stayed there.
Yeah, it's very strange, indeed. And I think, well, they wanted to show that the hacking went further than just taking over a ship's command, and maybe make the people disappear on board. Who knows? Maybe that was the intention behind it.
Yeah, but how do you
Wipe
make people
wipe him away, wipe him away. This disintegrate them. You know?
Okay, so you mean like an electronic attack?
Yeah, it's all an electronic attack because we see the noise attack with the ultrasound and the electromagnetic attacks and so forth. So there's a lot of that in that movie. There's two attacks, major attacks on their ears and brains and so forth, just like that happened in the embassy, the U.S. embassy in China and in Cuba,
Yeah,
in La Havana, which is they call it the Havana syndrome because it was based on the diplomats' affair and attacks. And they were really actually under attack. But the U.S. has those weapons, those sonic weapons, and Russia has them, China has them. So most major countries have them.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Even police forces have them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do. That's how they disperse demonstrations and riots and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And that is why I always say I wouldn't be so sure. I mean, yeah, I'm all for the Second Amendment, don't get me wrong. But I
Right.
think thinking that you can fight your way out, with your little guns, with what the government has, that's a little naive.
Yeah, yeah, but they a lot of them are believe that way and believe this, and they follow blindly the so-called self-claimed leaders, like RFK Jr. in the U.S. Over here, there's like Dupont-Aignan and Philippot and Marine Le Pen and so forth, and Bardella, the young agent of Marine Le Pen. And all those guys, where were they during the lockdowns and so forth? And they wore their masks like all the others, you
Mm,
know. And Dupont-Aignan is a young leader, is a French young leader, so he's one of Schwab's agents. And Bardella is even younger, and they're all part of the system. So people don't still haven't taken into account that it's totally futile and useless to go voting for any of those clowns out there because they're all agents of the system of the establishment. So of the New World Order. Um, and but that's probably why they're getting rid of the old figures and archetypes like Jacob Rothschild and Kissinger and so forth. They want to replace them with young blood, basically.
mm. So, what I found a little bit irritating in this movie, on the one hand, You
Mhm.
know, they had no TV anymore. There was no communication. That was allegedly step one, isolation, meaning you disrupt all means of communication.
Mhm.
And but they still had electricity. That was weird.
Right, right. Yeah, that was very weird. I have to say, yeah, that's very strange. I wanted to show something here, but I can't get to it in the background. Anyway, I'll show it to you and on a picture. Yeah, the EMP attacks. That's usually the electricity it goes down, so that's very strange. But there would be no movie and no lights in the studio, which is the house, to shoot the movie if there was no electricity. So everything would be in the dark, except during the daytime. So that's probably to make it more convenient to shoot the movie. you know.
Mm, yeah,
So
because usually I see no reason why the grid wouldn't go down with it.
right, 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 right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The grid should go down. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw the interview with. I talk about it in the movie at the end. The Tucker Carlson and Dennis Quaid movie interview. About the EMP attack and the cyber attack of the United States by China and so forth. They're saying it's not a matter of of if, it's a matter of when it's going to happen.
Hmm.
So that's what they're talking about in that interview,
And
which I
why
can.
are they so sure that it will be China?
Yeah, it could be. Well, yeah, it could be China. It could be. Well, it's going to be the U.S. anyway. It's another false flag. So the U.S. and the rest of the NWO team, like you see during the movie, they're dropping like leaflets, flyers from the
Yeah.
sky. One is in Persian, one is in Korean. I mean, it's just a matter of confusion. You don't know who is attacking the American people, so they're getting confused. Is it North Korea? Is it Iran? They don't know. But it's always, and we all understand that it comes from the the NWO itself. Well, which is I mean, the headquarters or
Yeah, yeah,
Washington,
yeah, yeah.
so the
I
military
mean,
part.
whenever, when there is something like that, there are so many possibilities. Yes,
Mm,
the usual suspects, Iran, Russia, China.
mm,
Okay, I
mm,
wouldn't rule it out completely.
right.
But of course, it could be a rogue hacker group. Yeah, it could even be your own government
Mm,
for whatever reason. So with those things, it's really hard to say what is really going on. But I found it interesting here, this black gentleman
mhm,
that is here on the background. Then later on, he explains what some very rich gentleman told him is going to happen. And that is when he explains these various steps. Step one, isolate.
mm,
And then he told him, take good care of yourself, and I will not be here for quite a while.
mm.
So yeah, if you know that scene, that kind of told me, well, no matter what type of leaflets you are dropping from the air,
Mm.
it sounds to me as if this was planned.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's totally planned. It's totally planned. It's a major attack, just like 9/11 was. So 9/11 was against the American people. So um, there was a speech by Obama. I don't know if the sound is going to be as bad as what I showed you with Greg Reese, but if you,
Please don't. Just tell us.
yeah, maybe I can just show you just the picture of
Mhm.
when he talked.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. It's interesting because because he basically explained it all. Obama. Obama speech. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, it was at Stanford, so I'm just gonna share the picture of the video. Let's see, Stanford years ago. All right, here it is.
Mhm.
Okay, and here's what he said. Understand that it is not necessary for people to believe this information to weaken democratic institutions. It is enough to flood the public square with sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theories that citizens don't know what to believe. Once they lose confidence in their leaders, in the mainstream media, and political institutions, in each other, that the truth is possible, the game is won. This is what he mentioned
Mhm.
back in the, I don't know, 2011 or something. I forgot when exactly it was. But see, that's the kind of speech that he made publicly at Stanford. So he disclosed back then, what the strategy would be in the future. Well, which has always been the same strategy: confusion, get people confused, so they don't know what to think. They don't know what who's going to be the country or the faction that it's going to attack on, or ruin their lives and so forth. And it's just a matter of keeping them in fear and endangered and insecure and not and unsafe all the time, and confused about where the attack would come from. So
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah, being confused,
mm,
that is pretty easy to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And especially if you are used to get your information via TV and radio, yeah,
Mm,
that usually doesn't bode well.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's people are easily confused, so because they don't try to understand and think for themselves. So most of them, so
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to do. Um, well, it's also the NASA T-shirt has a. I explained it in my movie, has a significance because you remember the disclosure in the year 2000, I think, around there, by Deborah Tavares from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
StopTheCrime.net,
Mm.
right? That famous NASA document that was put on the NASA website back then, published by NASA in 2001, actually, too, that described that they would attack the entire population by 2025, which is coming close. It's called Future Strategic Issues, Future Warfare, Capabilities of the Enemy After Next, Ongoing Worldwide Technological Revolutions, Economic Trends, Potential Nature of Farther Term Warfare, Future Strategic Issues. So it's all about attacking their own people, you know. It's not attacking a foreign country, it's attacking their own people. It's always an attack on their own people. That's basically the main assignment for all those not only NASA, but NASA helps. The NRO helps with above capabilities and weaponry and so forth. And the NRO is helping the NSA is helping, the CIA is basically doing the script and unfolding the staged events and the false flags and so forth. Yeah,
Okay, and now the question becomes, why would they do that?
they would do that basically if I think pushing the button of the major cyber attack all of the people in the US and abroad, in the Western world and even elsewhere, would be to bring up their own solutions as to, turning the power back on, which is social credit system and our program for, the Agenda 2030. You're going to obey, and you're gonna have to use your, our yeah, what do you call the QR code and coding system, and the citizens permit system with points like in China, in order to function, because everything else is not feasible. You don't need cash. Well, actually, it's funny in the movie because they use the cash. George, the African American owner of the house, pulls $1,000 to refund them because they need to crash at their own house in order to sleep, because they can't go back to New York and so forth because of the attack, the cyber attack. So he gives the couple $1,000, and later on, the guy, the white guy, I forgot the name in the movie, but it's not Kevin Bacon, it's the other guy. I forget the name of the actor, but anyway, he's famous as well, and tries to give $1,000. Ethan Hawke.
Hawke,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah, he gives $1,000. He tries to give $1,000 to Kevin Bacon, the survivalist, who's a little extreme, with his gun and so forth. He's like, he doesn't want to give medications for his son, who's in bad shape, and he takes the money after all, and so the cash is being exchanged from hand to hand, but at the end, the guy takes the cash. He still takes the cash. So what's the message behind that? Like, the cash is going to be useful, even though the system will have been crashed, and because they want to gear everyone towards
But Mark,
Yeah.
why go to such length? I mean, 2020 has shown us it takes very little to nudge people into the direction that you want to have.
Right. Well,
That makes sense to you?
yeah, because this is the tipping point. If they want to accelerate, speed up the process towards Agenda 2030, and if they want to catch up to what they want to have achieved, by they haven't achieved everything they wanted, I think, so far. So in order to speed up the process towards the social credit system all over the planet, the cyber attacks are the way, or the best way. And the cyber polygon, well, yeah, I can't play video. Oh shit. By the WEF, even Klaus Schwab says it. The time is now. The WEF says the time is now, talking about the cyber crash, the cyber attacks, the major, cyber polygon and more. They want to really go forward with this, and I think the Chinese will help as well, and won't be the enemy.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I think there are easier ways to accomplish this, apart from, putting everybody back to the Stone Age. And that is another thing, what you just mentioned here, the African American gentleman, the owner of the house, he told Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, yeah, well, we cannot go back to Manhattan into our house because the elevators are no longer running because of the blackout. But here they are in their house, listening to music, and the lights are on. Yeah, okay, TV is down, internet is down, but that it simply doesn't make sense, because the elevator then should not be down as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's a house outside of the city. Maybe the major cities have been targeted, like you target individuals, you can target cities, you can target strategic areas in order to take down the country. But you see.
This was the public hour. For full access of the entire interview, please join our Patreon community. Thank you.